All right, guys, back to work tonight. We're talking trading psychology in tonight's video newsletter. And here's the question for you. Are you scared to keep trading after you're losing some money, right? Have you killed all your confidence? You know what a good trade looks like, but every time you go to pull the trigger, you lock up, right? You freeze up and you miss all the good trades. If you're scared to trade right now because of previous losses or lack of confidence, if you're cutting your winners too early, if you're letting your losses run against you, if you're missing the best trades every day because of the fear of losses, not to worry. I've got 5 steps in tonight's video that I've personally have used to overcome this problem. Like a lot of folks, I lost a lot of money when I was a new trader many years ago. It took me a while to learn these steps, but I'm going to teach you 5 steps to get that confidence back so you're not skipping those trades and you can get your account growing again here with us in our trade room. You ready to get started? All right, let's jump right in. So here's a great question I got via email a few weeks ago, and it's one of the most common problems we deal with as new traders. And he says, help. I keep skipping good trades I know I should take. I keep cutting winners too early and missing the best moves. Then I force trades later in the day and I end up losing money. I'm missing the winners. I'm taking the losses. It's driving me crazy, all while my wife tells me I'm wasting my time and money trying to learn to trade on my own. I don't want to give up on this dream of full-time trading, but how do I get my fear of trading and my fear of losses behind me so I can get back on track and get back in the green? Boy, this is a great question. I think a lot of us have battled with this. So you're scared to keep trading, huh? Yeah, I think it happens to everyone at least a few times early in our career, but not to worry. I have definitely been in your shoes before, and today I'm going to show you 5 steps that I've used to overcome the fear of losses so you can get back on track and start grabbing those winning trades again. And as a bonus, I'm also going to give you 9 pro tips to help even the most scared trader become not just confident, but also get back to having fun again while you're trading. I know, sounds crazy, right? Having fun again in the markets. So make sure you watch all the way to the end because I got a bunch of great pro tips towards the end of this video. All right. Now, ultimately, there are 2 root causes for being scared to trade after losing money, and that is the fear of losses and the lack of confidence, right? I want to go over both of these causes real quickly because I think understanding why this is happening will definitely make it easier for you to implement the solutions I give you later on in this video lesson. Now, most new traders fear losing money for 2 reasons. First, we're actually hardwired as human beings to avoid losses. We are very well known as being loss-averse creatures. Basically, simply put, our instincts, we come hardwired this way, are to protect things that are already ours. We naturally place a higher value on things we already own. You know, it's actually in our instincts to want to protect the capital that we already have. So right out the gate, this makes trading more difficult at first because it just goes against our natural instincts of protecting what we already have. And then, of course, the second reason why we're scared of losing money is because most of us are scarred from prior large losses. You know, this is why a lot of trading psychologists will say that people are scared of losing money because they're scared or they're scarred from previous losses, right? They're scared of losing money because they're scarred from previous bad experiences. And it's so true. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If we took some big losses early in the learning process, we almost always suffer from some sort of PTSD. You know what I mean? It triggers these powerful emotions of fear, anxiety, and really even physical pain as soon as we even consider entering a new trade, right? You probably have felt that yourself. I know I'm guilty of this. I took some really big losses early in my career, mostly because I didn't know any better, right? And it took me a while to overcome that feeling in my stomach, right? Every time I took a new trade. For these 2 reasons. 1, being hardwired to avoid losses, right? Being loss averse. And then 2, having previous scars, right? Or previous losing experiences this causes us to instinctively want to avoid this painful experience. So what do? We hesitate, we undertrade, we avoid trades altogether, we cut our winners short, we remove our stops and let our losses run. Why do we do it? All to escape the pain of that potential loss. And of course, as you can imagine, this avoidance of trading, yeah, it helps us avoid the pain of losses, but it also prevents us from ever really learning how to trade. Ultimately, guys, unfortunately, we can't remove emotions completely. Yeah, that's not how we're wired. But I'll tell you, we can rewire our brains and the way we think about trading. And again, I'm going to give you 5 steps later in this video that'll help you rewire that brain. So make sure you keep watching all the way to the end. So that's the first reason why we're scared of trading, right? We're scared of losing money. But it's really not the only reason why we skip trades and why we cut our winners too early. The second root cause for being scared to trade is that we simply don't have confidence in ourselves or the trading strategy that we're using. Now, there are a couple of reasons why we might lack confidence. First is the lack of experience. New traders don't fully understand the complexities of the markets we're trading. They simply haven't been trading long enough to see examples of strong trends and weak trends and reversals and runaway markets and trading ranges and breakouts. I'll tell you, you can watch all the motivational videos you want. You can read all the books you want. You can lie to yourself all you want. But for most people, that lack of real experience, it shows up right in the pit of your stomach the moment you put on a new trade. It's almost like your gut says, I hope this works because I have no idea what I'm doing, right? That's what that real lack of experience, it shows up right when you go to pull the trigger on that new trade. Now, the second reason why we don't have confidence is we have too many strategies bouncing around in our heads. How many of us never really master one specific setup or one specific strategy? It's easy to see why this happens. There is so much junk all over the internet, hundreds of books on Amazon. I hear a lot of new traders tell me, I'll just get all the free information online. I'll be just fine doing this on my own. Right, sure you will. As if you're going to piece all that random information together into a reliable long-term strategy. It's not going to happen. I'll tell you, the old saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none, is exactly what happens for a lot of new traders. We don't have the confidence because we really don't have a strategy that we've taken the time to really build trust and confidence with. The third reason why we don't have confidence is a lack of focus. I remember hearing Dr. Brett Steenbarger once say, traders don't lack a strategy. They don't have a strategy problem. They have a focus problem. And it's so true. I've talked about building focus muscles, right, many times in these psychology videos. And I'm a big believer that when I'm focused, I'm confident. And when I'm confident, I'm successful. But I'll tell you, most people these days, they're distracted by cell phone alerts, emails, chat rooms, social media, their personal lives, you name it. They drink too much coffee in the morning. They take sleeping pills at night to go to sleep. The odds are stacked against them in this situation. Build your focus muscles, get in tune with the market, and you'll get your confidence back in whatever strategy you're trading. And last, and certainly not least, most new traders don't have a mindset strategy to deal with that little voice in their heads while they're trading, right? We already know that we're hardwired to fear losses, right? And there's this little voice in our heads, this nonstop conversation that goes on in our minds that keeps reminding us, don't mess this up, Joe. This is going to fail. You know it will. You can't afford another loss. You better skip this trade, right? That little voice, we all have it in our heads. But that voice is usually lying to us, isn't it? New traders have a difficult time knowing the difference between when they should listen to that voice in their head or when they should ignore that little voice altogether. I'll tell you, this is a really big one. That little voice is lying to us. And I'll give you a solution later on in this video to overcome that lack of a mindset strategy. So make sure you keep on watching all the way to the end. So hopefully by now you understand that the fear of loss and being scared to trade after losing money is, for most of us, an instinct, right? It comes instinctually. Also, we're hardwired for it. Yeah, and most of us make this even more difficult by going too big, too soon, with too many strategies, all while too distracted and really underprepared for the entire endeavor. Boy, it's no wonder most of us lose money early in our career when you think about it this way, right? I'll tell you, I had the same problem many years ago, but I learned to overcome that fear using this 5-step strategy. So let's talk about how to fix this lack of confidence and this fear in your trading. Now, 5 steps to overcoming the fear of losing money in trading. Let's talk about step number 1. The first step is to simplify your trading and focus on your very best trade setups. Now, this setup should give you an edge over the opposite side of the market, and it should be easy for you to identify when it's happening. The key here is to keep it simple and build confidence, not only in yourself, but also in the setup that you're trading. If you don't know what a good trade looks like, if you don't know how to find an edge in the market, it should come as no surprise that you will be scared to trade after losing money because you simply don't know what an edge looks like or what a good trading opportunity setup looks like. You know, take me for example. The first thing I teach my clients is my 2-try trap pattern because it's such a high probability of success and it's so easy to learn and execute. So that's the first thing. You gotta know what a good setup looks like. You gotta know what an edge in the market looks like. That's the first of these 5 steps to getting your confidence back. Step number 2 to getting your confidence back to keep on trading is once you know your favorite setup, now practice this one setup on a simulator for at least 2 weeks. Focus on the rules of the setup, when it happens most often, and the different variations of that setup, because very few setups are perfect. You know, they always say textbook trades only happen in textbooks, right? So make sure you know the rules of the setup, when and where it happens most often, and also the different variations of what that setup may look like. Again, because not many of them are going to be absolutely perfect. I know, people always hate trading on sim, but if you can't do it in simulation, how can you ever expect yourself to do it on a real live money trade? You know, if you don't want to trade on simulation, right, trade the micro contracts with NinjaTrader. You know, the micro E-minis, trade the SPY contract, right? Trade 1 share of the SPY, trade 1 contract of the micro E-minis, or again, just practice in simulation. Again, I know people don't like to trade on sim, right? But if you can't do it in simulation, if you can't do it on those small micro contracts or on 1 share of the SPY, you're never going to be able to scale it up and make real money. The goal of trading in simulation or trading a very small size on micro contracts is to master the proper execution of your favorite setup. And most importantly, to see the odds of success play out over the long term. You know, remember, the markets are relatively complicated. You know, they're not simple. So you want to test your strategy and your abilities over a large array of different situations. Strong trends, weak trends, range-bound markets, runaway markets, when you feel good, when you feel bad, when there's news, when you're overtired, right? You know, think about it. You know, think of an athlete, for example. Right? Take Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of all times, right? The most decorated Olympian of all times. Do you think Michael Phelps, the Olympian, just shows up and swims his race at the Olympics? No, right? Of course he doesn't. He practices and prepares in simulated races first, doesn't he? You know, what does that do? That prepares him ahead of time, not just for the race itself, but for the lead up to the race and how he feels going into it and how he recovers afterwards. The same goes for practicing your favorite setup in simulation or in a very small size. It gets you ready, making sure you're doing the little things correctly leading up to trading each day, when you're waiting for a trade, how you deal with winners, and how you rebound after losses along the way. So step number 2 in this 5-step process is to master the execution on a simulator or the smallest possible size, like a micro or 1 share of the SPY. Now, number 3, now let's move up to live trading. Okay, if you're successful in your 2 weeks of practice trading, now it's time to move to live trading with 1 contract or 1 share or whatever the minimum position size is. You know, we trade futures here at schooloftrade.com, so I recommend the micro E-mini contracts through NinjaTrader. But again, this could be the SPY or it could be any other instrument you're trading. The key is we want to get some skin in the game, but do it on a very small minimum size, right? That way it removes as much of the emotions as possible. The goal here is to make the successful transition from trading in a simulated or low risk environment into a real money trading environment while maintaining the focus on the process of trading, not on the profits. You know, the position size you're using should be so small that neither a loss or a winner really affects your mindset or your ability to keep on trading. Only then can you truly focus on proper execution. You know, Mark Douglas always said in his book, Trading in the Zone, the best traders focus on the process of trading, not on the profits, because in the end, the process is what ultimately delivers on those profits, right? So step 3 of this 5-step process, once we're successful in simulation, now kick it up to live trading with absolute minimum size. Step number 4, increase position size on the same setup. Now, after at least 1 month of trading in small position sizes, if you're seeing good results, now is the time to increase your position size on this 1 setup only. The key here is don't add anything new. Don't add any new setups. Don't do anything differently. Keep trading the same exact way, but now at a bigger position size. You know, I take this quite seriously personally. I make sure I'm using the same morning routine, the same rules checklist, the same weekly review. Nothing changes. So I can keep focused on executing the same way to build that muscle memory and remove any emotions that come along with doing something good. You know, the ultimate goal here is to increase your position size slowly over time, up until the point where you're risking 5% of your account balance every time you see this specific trade. At this point, you have a trade setup that you trust. You've earned self-respect by proving to yourself over a long period of time that you can indeed execute this trade correctly without making mental mistakes. And now you're ready mentally and financially to max out that 5% risk per trade. Now keep in mind, this 5% risk per trade will stay consistent as you grow your account larger. And over time, you'll be earning more money per trade without doing anything differently. Now, on a side note, this is why I recommend the E-mini S&P futures contract and why I teach it so much in my free Quick Start course. With the E-mini S&P or the micro E-mini, you can begin with a very small size at first, but then grow your account and earn more money without changing anything over the course of your trading career. And you know, speaking of my Quick Start course, what I'll do is I'll drop a link for that free trading course in the upper right-hand corner here of this video. Grab that link if you want to learn more. I'm going to talk more about the free Quick Start class though as we go deeper into this video. So make sure you stay tuned for more on that. And last, but certainly not least, is step 5. Add another setup and repeat steps 1 through 4. Now, once you've achieved a decent position size in your best setup, now go back and repeat steps 1 through 4 with your second best setup, following the same exact process and ramping it up from there. You know, this is the most effective way for a new trader to build their confidence, avoid big losses, and build a diverse strategy with many different ways to profit in the markets each day. You know, when you think about it, these are really 3 steps to building confidence and a successful trading career. Get consistent on your best setup, go big on your best setup, and then add more setups to give yourself more ways to make money every day. Right? So let's do a recap, right? Let's do a recap here. We've covered a lot here in this short video so far. Here are 5 steps to get your confidence back. 1, learn a setup that gives you that edge. Okay, got to know what an edge looks like in the market. Number 2, master the execution in simulation or a very, very small size if you're demo trading. Number 3, move to live trading after 2 weeks of simulated practice. Okay, once you're seeing success, then move up to live trading with minimum size in step 3. In step 4, increase our position size on the same setup. In step 5, add another setup and rinse and repeat. Keep going back, find a new setup, practice in simulation, move to live trading on small size, increase the position size to max out your 5% risk per trade, and keep on adding setups. This is how I built my career, and I'll tell you, the system really works if you apply it. So at this point, many of you are probably thinking, well, this is all great, isn't it? But I've tried this before, Joe, and it didn't work for me. Am I just doomed to be a losing trader? Should I listen to my best friend or my wife or my neighbor or my cousin and just give up on this foolish dream already? No, don't give up just yet. You know, again, I had a similar problem when I was a rookie. I lost a lot of money early in my career, and I'll tell you, I've helped a lot of traders overcome these issues in my coaching career. So here are 9 pro tips to help you implement this strategy more effectively and correctly. The first one is to find a trading partner to hold you accountable. You know, one of the most effective ways to learn and implement any new skill is to do it with a partner. You can share ideas, share your struggles, your successes, and most importantly, have someone to hold you accountable while you're executing this game plan every day. You know, just like if you were trying to lose weight or get back in shape or quit smoking, having somebody there to hold you accountable and not wanting to let somebody else down is a very powerful motivating factor for us procrastinating human beings. You know, take me for example. You know, I act as a trading partner, as an accountability partner for all of my clients. I lead by example, I hold them accountable, and I support them through the ups and the downs as they build their trading career. That's the first one, right? Find a trading partner, okay? Group up with somebody, right? And hold each other accountable. The second pro tip to make this implementation easy is to start keeping a trading journal. You know, I've talked many times on this YouTube channel about the value of a trading journal. The key to using a trading journal is not just to track your trades, although that is very important. The key is to use your trading journal to track when you're at your best and when you're at your worst in your trading. You know, in my trading journal, I pay very close attention to times that I make mental mistakes, such as not taking a good trade when I know I should be taking it. You know, when I see myself making a mental mistake, such as avoiding a good trade because I'm scared, for example, I look for triggers and patterns that lead up to making that mental mistake. Was I distracted? Was I overtired? Am I making this mistake in specific times of day, specific market conditions? Is there a specific day of the week when I'm distracted? Do I have emotions or feelings before I made that mistake? What happened, right? I write those intangibles down in my journal. On the flip side, your journal should also be used to identify times when you're at your best. You know, what was my evening routine? What did my morning look like? What market conditions was I trading? Remember, the easiest way to make money in these markets is to identify when you have an edge in the markets. And that's oftentimes more than just the chart that you're trading, right? A lot of times, it's what leads up to a good trading day. You know, these again are the intangibles that you should be tracking in your trading journal, looking for ways to identify that first domino that triggers the mental mistakes and also triggers some of your best trading each day. That's the stuff you want to write down in that journal. Step number 3, remove distractions. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, many new traders operate in a highly distracted environment, never allowing themselves to truly focus on one task in front of them. Remember, focus is like a muscle. We have to build it to get it, and then we have to use it or we lose it. You know, new traders are oftentimes way too distracted. They're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, right? Social media, chat rooms, they got email going, they got cell phone alerts going, right? It never ends. This kind of information overload makes it impossible to focus and very difficult to execute the plan that we're trying to implement. And keep in mind, this goes way beyond when we're trading. You know, we need to remove these distractions all day long. Think about it. It is completely unrealistic to think you're going to have a million distractions 20 hours a day, and then magically you sit down at your computer and you're razor focused for 4 hours at a time. Right? Does that sound realistic? Of course not. But that's what a lot of people try to do. Right? They live crazy, chaotic, distracted lives filled with distractions, and they're surprised when they can't hold their focus for an hour while they're trading. You know, would you show up and run a marathon without training for it? Of course not. What would you do? You'd practice. You would build your strength. You'd build your stamina so you can handle the challenge of running 26 miles in a marathon. The same is true for day trading. Remember, if we don't have focus, we don't have confidence. And without confidence, we miss the best entries, which makes it impossible to make money. And then, of course, that leads to being scared to keep on trading. So get your mind right. Get your lifestyle right. Clean up your trading environment. Build those focus muscles. I truly believe that focus is the new modern day superpower, not just for trading, but in real life overall. You know, he or she who can focus the most will win whatever game they're playing. You know, what do you think, right? Do you agree? Do you think that focus is the new superpower? Let me know in the comments section below. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and drop me a comment below. What do you think? Do you think focus is easy? Drop me a comment in the comment below, because I think focus is the modern day superpower. But I would love to hear what you think in the comment section. Drop me a comment, and while you're down there, hit that like button. Step number 4, perfect is the enemy of profits. You know, one thing I've battled with personally is wanting to be perfect in my trading. And I think most of us know it's completely unrealistic to expect perfection out of anything that we do, right? You know, guys, try to remind yourself that small mistakes as you're learning are not only okay, but they're actually encouraged. It's true. Like when you were a kid. Was it effective to be upset at yourself for not learning how to tie your shoes fast enough? Of course it wasn't. You know, it's important that we be kind to ourselves and be understanding that mistakes are going to happen along the path. You know, no, I'm not talking about, you know, taking a losing trade, right? I'm talking about yelling at yourself or belittling yourself for making a small mental mistake during the natural learning process. You know, have you ever noticed we treat ourselves horribly sometimes, far worse than we'd ever treat another human being? Isn't that true? Remember, thoughts become feelings, and feelings become actions, and actions turn into results. So pay attention to how you talk to yourself and track that in your journal. Personally, I like to remind myself to be, quote, firm with my overall goals, but be tolerant and flexible with small mistakes along the way, right? If we melt down every time we mess up, we're never going to make the progress we need to be successful. So cut yourself some slack, right? But remember the long-term goal that you're working towards. Step number 5, pro tips to make this easy. Use a process goal, not a profit goal. Now, I'll tell you, one of the most common questions I get from new traders is, what's your daily profit goal? And I'll tell you the same thing I tell them. I don't use a profit goal. I use a proper execution goal. My goal is to never miss a good setup on any given trading day, because I know over time, if I consistently execute my process correctly, I'll make money in the long run. This takes the pressure off having to make money every day or having to find a couple trades every day. Remember, guys, we don't control anything in these markets besides our decision to enter and exit and the number of contracts or shares that we trade. That's all we control. It is naive, it is a rookie mistake to place unrealistic profit goals on your own trading each day. What if the markets don't move that day? What if you're sick? What if you're overtired? What if there's news that all of a sudden interrupts the markets? Change your daily goal from a profit goal to a process goal. That removes the emotional pressure to make money every day. And I'll tell you, it also makes trading fun again, like when you first began. I always tell myself, let's go find the 2 best trades today, right? I never say, let's go make $1,000 today, right? Focus on the process, not the profit. Do you see the difference there? Right? I hope you do, because that's a really big turning point in our kind of mental ability to deal with this problem. Let's keep going. Step number 6, fight performance anxiety with visualization. Performance anxiety is something that affects most new traders, and it really becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. We lose money on a trade, we then worry about losing money in the next trade, which of course causes us to execute the next trade poorly, which then results in more losses, right? This cycle of losing money and then being scared of losing money and then allowing it to affect our next execution, that's what fuels performance anxiety. Just like a pro athlete, we need to learn to remove the fear of making mistakes and focus on the proper execution of the task in front of us, right? The most effective way to overcome this performance anxiety is to use visualization. What's worked for me personally is to begin every day by visualizing that perfect setup that I never want to miss. I try to visualize, what are the conditions? What time of day? What does the channel look like? What does the range look like? What does the signal look like? Where does my stop go? Where's my target at? What does it feel like when it triggers and hits my profit targets? I'm literally visualizing hitting that home run trade, the same way a baseball player visualizes hitting that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like when you do your job correctly? Close your eyes and really visualize what makes you money before you begin trading each day. Then comes the hard part. Now visualize how you'll deal with a couple losses each day. Yeah, this is the hard part, right? Visualizing the good stuff is fun, it's easy, it's very effective, but visualizing the bad stuff is far more important. How do you feel after that first trade loss? How do you feel after a mental mistake? How do you react? How do you get over that mental mistake so you don't miss the next good trade? The key here is to visualize yourself doing things perfectly, right? That way you know what you're looking for each day, as well as visualizing yourself overcoming the very problem that's causing you to be scared in the first place. By visualizing how you do your job correctly, but more importantly, how you get over yourself when you do it incorrectly. That's the real key to getting past this big obstacle in your trading. And I'll tell you, I love this strategy. Rehearsing how you deal with the bad stuff. Most people don't do it. You need to do this if you're scared of losing money, right, in your trading. Number 7, reframe your thoughts and your feelings. A highly effective technique for overcoming the fear of losing money is to reframe those feelings as something possible. I actually learned this technique from my brother Jared, who has autism. He suffers from crippling social anxiety. And you know how he overcomes it? He tells himself, I'm scared, but it really means there's something exciting about to happen, and I want to be part of it. Isn't that inspiring? Isn't that profound? Jared, again, he gets very anxious in social environments, and he tells himself, I know I'm feeling scared right now, but that means that something good is coming, right? He reframes that negative feeling into something more positive. I think that is so inspiring, and I think we can all use a little tip of that ourselves as traders. As a trader, instead of saying, I'm scared of taking this next trade, say, I know this setup works. It may not work this time, but that's how trading goes. In order for me to make money, I need to take every valid setup that I see, and this is one of them. Win or lose, I'm doing my job. You know, this technique of reframing your thoughts and fears as a new opportunity will help you overcome this obstacle of being scared to trade. You know, behavioral psychologists call this emotional intelligence. That is understanding which voices in our heads we should take seriously and which voices we should ignore altogether. You know, think about it. How many times is that little voice in your head actually correct? Not very often, is it? No, it's not. So tell the little voice in your head moments before you pull the trigger to quiet down, because you got this, right? You know what a good trade looks like, and you're doing your job. Not every trade will be perfect. Not every trade will be a winner, but my job is to execute this because it's the only way I'm going to make money in the long run. Number 7, right? Reframe your thoughts. I love this strategy. It's worked well in many different parts of my life. And on a side note, guys, like most people, I've dealt with this problem before. And I read this book, great book, called Dare, A New Way to End Anxiety, which I'll link up in the description of this video. And this gives you kind of a modern day take on how to deal with reframing those feelings of fear and anxiety. Again, I'll drop a link for you guys in the description of this video. I hope it helps you as much as it helped me. And of course, my brother Jared really did well with some of the ideas from this book as well. Hope it helps you as well. Number 8. Master emotional intelligence. Now, as I mentioned earlier, emotional intelligence is having the ability to determine which thoughts you should be taking seriously and which thoughts should be ignored altogether. Things like meditation and yoga have been proven to help slow down the pace of these random thoughts racing through our minds, and it helps build the mindset muscles to help us stay focused throughout the entire trading day. As I mentioned earlier, most of us live and work in a highly distracted environment, so carving out some time for meditation or yoga or other mindfulness practices is a wise investment in your trading career. And I do realize that spending 10 or 15 minutes focusing on your breath or down dog, right, may seem like a waste of time for us busy people these days. I get it. But I'll tell you, those 10 minutes of meditation are just like training your mind for a marathon. Trading 3 to 4 hours every morning in my trade room with me is a mental marathon. And we can use things like meditation or yoga or other mindfulness practices to build that muscle, those mindset muscles, that mental endurance. Personally, I've enjoyed the Take 10 series from Headspace.com, and I'll leave a link for you guys in the description. So if you want some good advice on how to get started with meditation, I'll put a link for you guys in the description of this YouTube video. So grab that link there and get your emotional intelligence on the right track. And last, but certainly not least, number 9, find an edge in your trading. I know, finally. Now, in this video, I've outlined a 5-step solution for overcoming the fear of losing money while you're trading. And the very first step is to learn a setup that gives you an edge in the markets that you're trading, right? I'll tell you, finding this edge isn't easy when you're a new trader. It's almost like finding a needle in a haystack. But if you're watching this video right now, I want to give you a shortcut that I would have killed for as a new trader almost 15 years ago. I want to show you how I find that edge every day in my favorite markets in my trade room, so you can get your confidence back and become that successful trader that I know you really want to be inside. You know, finding an edge is actually as simple as 1, 2, 3. And I teach this 3-step process in my free Quick Start Trading course. What I'll do is I'll put a link for you guys in the upper right-hand corner of this video so you can join that course and learn this 3-step strategy so you know what an edge looks like. and you can get your confidence back in your trading. You know, if you're serious about overcoming the fear of losing money, the first step is to grab that free trading course linked up in the upper right-hand corner, because you'll learn how to find that edge. It'll give you all the tools you need to execute this process I've outlined in this video. So again, grab that link up top, learn what I call an edge in the market, get your confidence back, and you'll love that free quick start trading class. Wrapping things up here, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button if you like videos like these to be published every week. Also, drop me a comment in the comments section. What was the most valuable part of this video for you? How did it help you the most? And are there any other topics you want to see me cover in this psychology video series? Let me know in the comments section, because I'm always looking for new ways to help my students succeed. And again, grab that quick start course linked up in the upper right hand corner, because trading actually gets fun again when you learn how to find that edge. That's it for me tonight, guys. That's it. As always, my name is Joseph. Hope you learned a lot in this video. Hope this helps give you the tools you need to overcome that fear of taking that next trade. Now enjoy the rest of your evening. Be well out there. Be nice to each other and yourself. And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.